Welcome to my Boom Talk. I am Abel Andrews, and today we will be exploring cold immersion and hypnotic suggestion on pain or discomfort. And we will begin with a point of the opioid epidemic and how it is the cause of over 80,000 deaths in the United States, according to the CDC in 2025. So today I will compare the research from both cold immersion and hypnotic suggestion. And though they seem unrelated, they might actually work through similar mechanisms in your brain and body. So this literature review poster explores the convergent pathways between cold immersion training and hypnotic analgesia for managing discomfort. And the research question I am exploring is what physiological and psychological mechanisms suggest similarities between cold immersion practices and hypnotic suggestion techniques for dealing with discomfort. So let's start with the most recent and direct evidence. Julie and colleagues did in 2023 did a virtual hypnosis and how it reduced cold discomfort and pain intensity in participants. An earlier study in 2007, Cassiglia and colleagues found that hypnotic analgesia increased cold discomfort tolerance dramatically. When hypnosis was compared head-to-head with other psychological interventions, hypnosis did come out on top. Ferreira and Valiente and colleagues in 2022 found hypnosis outperformed both mindfulness and prayer in increasing cold pressure discomfort tolerance. Prior to that, Freeman and colleagues in 2000 showed that hypnosis was superior to simple distraction. This was additionally backed up by two meta-analyses by Milling 2021 and Thompson 2019, confirming hypnotic analgesia across multiple discomfort types. So what is actually happening in the brain and body with these two different interventions? Let's start with the periaqueductal gray, which is the PAG for short. This is an important structure in the brain, descending discomfort inhibitory pathways. Music and colleagues have explored this in a few studies in 2018 and 2024. They found that the Wim Hof method, specifically cold immersion and breathwork, activate the PAG along with the insular regions that support sustained attention during cold exposure. Hypnosis engages spinal and supraspinal modulation pathways to discomfort through similar descending mechanisms. Basiglio in 2022 and Hughes in 2021 demonstrated this. We're also seeing both interventions tapping into same control infrastructures to discomfort to your brain. Cold immersion increases what researchers call large-scale brain network connectivity. And a study in 2023 showed that this increases not just brain connectivity, but also the positive effect. People actually feel better. Both approaches demonstrate this enhanced coordinated neural communication during stress management. Additionally, both enable control over voluntary sympathetic control. Knox was one of the first studies to do this in 2014, that cold immersion or cold exposure and breathwork training enabled voluntary activation of the sympathetic nervous system. People may actually be able to control a system that is supposed to be automatic or involuntary. And hypnosis does something similar, producing voluntary autonomic control that lets people intentionally modulate their parasympathetic responses. So there are four psychological processes that both interventions seem to share. First, their focused attention control. Both cold immersion and hypnosis train people to redirect their awareness away from the signal of discomfort through selective attention strategies. You're not gritting your teeth and just bearing it. You're actively managing where your attention goes. Second, this is particularly fascinating, both interventions involve altered time perception. In hypnosis, it is known as time distortion, where seconds feel like minutes, or in reverse. And if you've ever been in an ice bath, that is a subjective experience of time shifts as well. This distortion appears to be part of how both interventions help people endure discomfort, which would otherwise be intolerable. When you change how you experience time, you change how you experience discomfort duration. Third, we see learned regulatory strategies developing. Through training, people can override their default physiological stress responses. This appears to be a skill that you can develop. Fourth, there is an enhanced self-efficacy. Through repeated practice and demonstrated mastery, people build confidence in their capacity to modulate discomfort. You can successfully control discomfort once, twice, or even 10 times. You start believing that you can do it. And that belief becomes part of the mechanism. So can this work in clinical settings? I think it can. Elkins and colleagues in 2017 found that hypnosis demonstrates efficacy compared to standard care for chronic discomfort management. Cold exposure training shows documented mood improvements in clinical populations. Blades 2024 showed that specifically in women with high depressive symptoms. We're also seeing cardiac autonomic improvements documented with cold immersion protocols in the work of Youngman 2018 and Kellhut 2023. There were also a few systematic reviews, both confirming this across various populations. So what are the limitations? Despite all of the evidence, we do have important gaps in research. First, there are no direct comparative studies examining both cold immersion and hypnosis, and I think this is a place where we should explore first. Second, the psychological strategies are actually under-examined, but studies are focusing more on the outcomes. Did discomfort go up and down than specific cognitive techniques? Third, temporal factors remain unexplored. How long do these effects last? The duration of benefits remain poorly documented, especially in hypnotic states. So here's what we know. Cold immersion and hypnotic suggestion demonstrate convergent psychological mechanisms. We're seeing voluntary autonomic control, shared brain network activation, and effective discomfort modulation in both. These similarities could develop integrated clinical approaches that leverage shared neurobiological mechanisms. We could create personalized discomfort management protocols that combine these techniques based on individual responses. We could extend these applications beyond discomfort and into stress resilience training. I think the evidence warrants direct comparison research and investigation of combined therapeutic applications. Understanding the shared mechanisms move us towards viewing cold immersion and hypnosis more than isolated techniques and towards recognizing fundamental principles of the mind-body control. This can give us another non-pharmacological way to manage discomfort. Thank you so much. And for references, please use the QR code on the poster.